today? Are we celebrating Kranzo?
We are. We're celebrating Kranzo today.
Many people don't know how close and what dear friends we are and have been for so very long.
Before we even talk about Kranzo and what's about to happen here, let's just dive in. Let's just take a look at one of the greatest pieces of magic. Kranzo is, master magician. So let's just take a piece. Let's look at a little piece of magic.
This is an excellent piece.
It is. And then we're going to come back and we'll talk a little bit more about what's happening.
Alex looks like
for extra entertainment, pay attention to the lighter as Nathan tosses it into his pocket. For extra entertainment above and beyond the beautiful routine we're about to watch.
Okay.
All right.
Good. All right, here we go. Let me know if you can see that, Alex.
There it is. I see it.
Here we go.
I have with me a piece of wish paper. It doesn't look like much. It's like a little piece of tissue paper. But if I add a little heat to it and make a wish. Ooh, look at that. Ooh.
I remember that. And Nate didn't see it as much as we did. Like we saw it flame, and Nate was like, "Oh, a little something."
Oh, I gotta run that back one more time.
It's a really good moment.
It is. All right.
Just like a little piece of tissue paper. But if I add a little heat to it and make a wish. Ooh, look at that. Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
But that just goes to show that Nathan is pretty unflappable because he literally began to flame uncontrollably out of his pocket, and all he did was, whoo. That's
totally.
all.
Next phase.
Next phase.
Yeah, it's literally, look, I mean, the only acknowledgement he gives it when that giant
look at that thing, man.
It's even funnier when I step through it frame by frame.
Oh my god.
But anyway, the only acknowledgement you get from it is this smile. He just knows that, something happened, but he's going to move on.
Quick question, incidentally. Yeah. Alex and Adam, have you guys ever burned your fingers on flash paper?
Oh, many times. Sure.
Yeah.
But you guys feel like that's kind of the deal, right? You guys just take it, right? The key is not minding, like G. Gordon Liddy.
The saying is true. If you're going to play with fire, you're going to get burned. It just happens. And you have to sort of get over it. And you find the limits of that so you don't burn yourself as much if you play with flash paper, which I don't recommend.
Well, Nathan does. Nathan feels like, tomorrow night that Nathan's coming to do a special coin gaff workshop with us?
Yeah.
We're going to do a special for our members tomorrow night. We're going to do a special coin gaff workshop because Nate is so prolific and such a profound creator. When he does a full evening lecture, he can't. You can double click on any element of a Nathan Kranzo lecture and Nathan will go for 4 or 5 hours. And so we made him promise to do it. But on the times I've seen Nathan lecture and talked about him before, Nathan swears by flash paper. I like to change money into more money when I meet people, but Nathan has been a big believer in blowing stuff up. When Nathan says hello to a bunch of strangers, things explode. And Nathan will tell you, there's just no better way to get people interested. For years we saw him do that with a carnation. He'd carry a jug in his pocket of baby flowers, and he would have a flame and then produce the flowers and hand them to the ladies.
That's great. That's great. Fire gets you far, man. I used to open with fire all the time. I didn't have enough good magic. I needed fire.
Just to be clear, Nathan is not doing the flaming because of a lack of good magic.
No. You'll see that here easily. That's not the case. Not the case.
All right, let's continue on. Here's the coin routine. Sorry we stopped it, but we had to laugh about that fire.
In this reaction video, we want to apologize for stopping.
Hey, good morning, Flesh. Magic silver dollar. It's actually a special jacket too. It's cashmere. It's a groan or a laugh. It's okay. There's 2 silver dollars there. There's number 1. There's number 2, and the third one is on my knee. If I squeeze just right, it will. Oh, wrong hand. Sorry.
Nice.
I'm very stubborn. I never know where they're gonna pop up. But these are actually about 100 years old. They've changed hands so much. These are the peace dollars, as they call them, peace dollars. They've changed hands so much they'll do it on their own. They'll actually fly from here to here, from my left hand to my right hand, one at a time. From here to there, just to my fingertips. Watch, they'll just seem to kind of melt across. That's number 1.
Beautiful.
Just 2 left, 2 coins, and we'll let you guys pick. Let's see here. Alex, you get to pick top or bottom.
Do the top.
Top coin. Watch the top coin there. It will jump from there to my fingertips over here. That's number 2. Right there. And the reason why this is so deceptive is because I have 3 coins and you guys only have 2 eyes. Except for, like a week ago, I did a gig in Chicago and there was a guy with 1 eye and he was like, no, 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 no. It was really funny. So I'll put 1 in my pocket, so we'll even up the odds. Just 2 coins. 1 in my pocket, 2 in my hands, 2 coins, 2 eyes. But if I stamp my foot, it looks like 3.
Whoa.
See, but it's just an illusion. It looks exactly like 3 coins. If I hold them like this, you can see it looks like 3. But if I turn them around, you can see it's just 2. It's just 2 coins.
Oh, wow.
So we go from 3 to 2. We can go from 2 to 1. Just kind of blow on the coins like this, and they'll just seem to melt. Oops, sometimes I get stuck. One gets stuck on my elbow. We'll save that one for last. We'll take this one and just kind of. Oops, I lost it in the lights somewhere. I don't know. It's gone. That's one. I don't have to actually make the coins vanish if I can just make them really tiny. If I can just kind of shrink them down into nothing. It's still there. It's just so tiny. It's kind of like Honey, I Shrunk the Coin, you know? If I there's number 1. Number 2 is on my elbow. And if I stomp my foot, I should be able to, hey, there's number 3.
Hey.
Wow. Wow.
So the 3 coin routine. That thing is really developed over the years. I mean, we've known Nate for 20 plus years, and like, you know, he was messing around with 3 coin routine back then, and he had different versions. I really feel like he has just, you know, over the years found the right phases that really work, and he's tested it, you know, for lots of audiences. So
I have 2. I learned it after Nate did that for us, and I think it's one of the best versions of that type of routine that there is, because it's got every kind of coin effect in it. It's so strong. After it's done, that is it. That's the coin magic, right? After that's over, you've done coin magic. There's nothing else to say after that. And they just think you're a master magician. If that's the only routine you do, they just think you're just a master of sleight of hand. It's a killer. I cannot highly recommend this enough. It is so, so good.
Yeah, I would go so far as to say it's the best routine of its kind. And, you know, I agree with Nathan. Every time I've had Nathan teach it to me maybe 5 times over the years. Every time I go through it with him, I learn more about not only the routine, but I learn more about coin magic. There's all kinds.
Sorry, I was gonna say maybe we could get him to do it again.
He'll do it again. I mean, it's his core opener routine, and he's got a lot of stuff planned. A lot of stuff with shells and another gaff, but I would feel like if we were going to do a deep dive with Nathan on coin magic, I would feel like Nathan would say, I think it's so central to his coin magic. You take that one routine, and because one of the things that makes it so wonderful is it's a shell routine and it's a coins across, but it's also a 3 appearance and 3 vanish. So it's got elements of fingertip coins across, fingertip appearances, fingertip vanishes, and fingertip, 3 fly, right? Mm-hmm. So basically it's got the entirety of stand-up coin magic. And what he's done is he does like a phase or 2 of each one of those effects before he shifts into the next element of it. So every time you do like one of these coin tricks, they've got like a big problem, right? When you do coins across, for example, it's like 1 goes across, maybe 2 goes across, but now you got like an issue. How do you make the 3rd one get across? It's like considerably harder to make the last one go. Well, that's when Nathan shifts gears into the next aspect of the effect. So you have this beautiful way of solving the problems, which is whenever he gets into the tricky part of the routine, he shifts into a routine which is not tricky and does the first 2 phases of that. Right? So I just think it's the best all-around version of that. And look, Alex does 3 fly really well. He's been working on a really hard time. It is so much ludicrously harder than this routine. This is a really practical routine. Nathan swears by it, and that's why we like it so much.
And this one has a lot more going for it than 3 fly. Like 3 fly, it's just the effect. And I still do 3 fly, and I think in certain settings it's the right trick. But for walk around magic, And a lot of times in stage magic, if they don't know you, this routine is so good because it just establishes credibility like super quick because his magic is just so strong. So yeah, again, I highly recommend you take your time and learn this thing. It's so good.
Scott, Nathan is not using transient coins. So just to be clear, and you know, I'm glad that you said that because, you know, I hoped everyone would agree when we made the decision that as a little part of the lecture tomorrow night, we're going to get into this routine again. New questions happen every time. There's so much to learn. But Nathan is not using transient coins. He's using silver dollars and a shell.
Yeah.
That's it. Right? So this is his core cask strength. You know, everything he has learned, every method for appearances, vanishes, coins across, all of it has been boiled down into this one sequence. And like Alex said, it's an entire show.
Yeah.
Yeah. No transient coins. No, I would say when people get excited about transient coins, it's because they feel like they're going to be able to get something very similar to this.
And you definitely can get a taste of what this is with the transient coins. I've been working with the transient coins myself. I think it's a wonderful gaff. It's just a different beast here, right? It's a different thing. You're using more traditional like sleight of hand magic and sleight of hand moves for Nathan's routine rather than the transient coins. As you well know, the methodology dictates something a little bit different, right? But they both have their merits. I don't think the transient coins is bad. I think it's really, you know, you're picking your venue, you're picking your spots where you're going to perform this thing. But as a pure study of just sleight of hand coin magic, that Kranzo routine is very satisfying. It sort of checks all the boxes on all the things you want to, the things you love as a coin magic, things you love to practice, and all of the great moves. And above all, it's just an entertaining routine because there's so much going on. It runs the gamut, like Aaron was saying. You know, you're getting a taste of vanishes, you're getting a taste of coins going across. You know, it's a little bit of everything. And because of that, it's tough to beat.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to do a coin trick, you're going to want to do coins across. If you're going to want to do coins across, you're going to want to do it with a shell, and you're going to want to do it so people can see it. And so for the most important coin trick and the most important way of doing the most important coin trick, Nate has got, for our feeling, is the best overall routine on every metric, right? So, hey, thank you, Mary. I appreciate that. Do you prefer Marianne or Mary? Let us know. Let's carry on, and maybe you'll put that in chat for me.
Because you can do this for one person, or you can do this for 500 people in a theater, which is nice. It just uses 4 cards. I have 4 jacks in this case. It's a little bit easier to follow with just 3 objects, like the 3 coins. So I'm just hoping you guys can really step up your game and follow 4 things. And to make it easier to follow, I'm also using blue cards, and it's really important because they match my eyes. So if there's one takeaway from the lecture today, it's to make sure that the cards that you use coordinate with your eye color.
That shouldn't be too hard.
Okay. If you've got like a David Bowie thing going on, then that's going to be really fun. So let's just get to the music here. You know what? I mentioned earlier that it's a little bit easier to follow with 3, so I'll put one of the jacks in my pocket here. 3 coins, 3 cards. Maybe it's easier for you guys to follow. So as long as I have,
Wait a second.
Sorry about that. All right, we'll just start over here. As long as I have 3 jacks, we can do this. So 1, 2, 3. As long as I have. Oops.
What?
Okay. All right. Maybe I need to reevaluate my life here. Just 1, 2, 3 jacks. As long as we have just 3, we can do the. What the heck? Okay. Perfect. Now that I have just 3, I can show you the trick with 3. Oh!
What's going on over there, Nathan?
Now that I have 1, 2, 3, perfect. I was going to show you the trick with 3 jacks, but I can't because these cards don't match my eyes.
Yeah. Love it.
That's a fun trick, man. It's pretty different.
It's very, very sneaky. You know, it looks like real magic. I, for one, look, you can't say that the 6-card repeat is ineffective. No. Anyone who's seen Michael Finney do it, right? Anyone who works with an audience and can really just work with an audience will tell you the 6-card repeat is great. What
Adam Grace has a killer version of that trick.
A killer version of that trick, but what I'm suggesting is that this, you know, the sip card repeat is all you. It's all your chance to connect with the audience. For those of us need the magic to do a little bit more, you know, this method of Nathan's really, really simple to do, really, really unexpected. And on stage stand up, it just looks like magic.
You know, if you,
I don't want to tip it, but
no,
it's
don't
obvious,
tip
you
it.
know?
It's genius. Don't tip it. If you want to learn how it's done, just log into Conjure Community, go right into the back room and look at Nate's last lecture he did with us, where he taught a whole onslaught of great effects like this.
I guess it's fair to say you have to be a member.
Yeah, you have to be a member. That's right.
But Marianne knows that because she's a member.
Yeah, and you know, it's a good time to join our Magic Club right now because we have Nate appearing tomorrow night live. So if you're not in Conjure Community, you should think about joining the world's best Magic Club.
What are you waiting for?
Yeah, right.
A plague?
A pandemic? All right, let's check out the next thing, Alex. This is the oil and water.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's good.
I really
Good.
gotten interested in this trick. I never liked this trick. Lee Asher hated this trick when we were growing up, and I was like, well, I guess I feel how Lee feels. But as I get older, I think, hey, it's groovy. They don't mix.
Yeah, I think it's a plot that grows on you too. I'm the same way. I didn't love it when I was a kid, but I like it more and more now, and I like different variations now. You know,
This one's a pretty good variation, man. This is good.
And 5 red cards. And this is great because you can literally do this over the phone. I could just call one of you guys and say, hey, you know,
don't call me.
If you're there with a friend that can do a really cool trick with you, and you could literally just walk them through it. And it's cool because it's completely hands off. So it really is what it appears to be: 5 black cards and 5 red cards. And because I'm a lonely guy with no life, I'm here by myself. So I'm just going to have to play the part of both spectators, but it'll be easy to understand and easy to follow along. But usually I would have the spectator do everything. So they get to mix the cards. They get to do the red-black sequence of actually mixing them. And all along the way, at any point, if there's ever any, you know, question, I always let them double check that everything is what it seems. So in this case, we've got the alternating order of the red, black, red, black, red, black. And we are ready to begin. Okay, so this is a true situation. There's no double cards, no secret counts or anything like that. They really are just mixed up. And what I do is I'll explain, especially if it's a lay person, they don't understand a lot of the idea behind the mechanics of cutting the cards. So for instance, if I cut this packet, I could literally cut this packet 1,000 times and it won't change the nature of the red-black sequence, okay? And just that idea can sometimes, you know, befuddle the average layperson. Okay, but you guys know that. We all know that. And the same thing is if I just take one card and move it from the top to the bottom. I can do this ad infinitum, and it's not going to change the sequence. There will always be red, black, red, black, red, black. Okay, so I'm just kind of setting the lay people up and letting them know how cut mechanics work, so to speak. And they'll have to remember how to do this importantly in a few moments. And I'm going to give them 5 cards. And I take 5 cards. All right, so 5 for me, 5 for you. And now I will teach you how to use your magic wand, because at the end of the trick, that's the big climax, that's the big finale. We both use the magic wand to make the magic happen. So the way it works is you just take the top card and you wave it like it's a magic wand, and then you tap the packet. And then when you're done with your magic wand, you always place it back on bottom or back in your pocket. All right, so they follow along and they do the exact thing. They wave their magic wand, they tap their packet, and then they place the card back on bottom. All right, so now that they know how to do their magic wand, we're going to teach them how to do a magic trick. And to do a card trick, they kind of all start the same way. You fan out your cards just like this, and then you have a card selected. So you have them do the same thing. All right, so they fan out their cards. All right, and then they pull out the middle card. Okay. And what's cool is you get to replace that card anywhere you want into their packet. And they do the same thing, vice versa. So they take their card and they can shove it, you know, second, third, fourth, fifth, anywhere you want. They shove it in there. And then I do the same thing. I take my card and I shove that anywhere I want into their packet, okay? And now, once again, they get to choose. That's all their choice. You can take their packet and put it on top of yours, or they can take your packet and put it on top of theirs. They get to make all the choices. So it doesn't matter, whatever they want. All the cards are assembled, and now the big climax, the big finale of the trick, they have to use their magic wand. So they take the top card, wave it over, tap the magic wand, place it back on bottom, and of course we snap our fingers, and all the cards have separated. We've got 5 black and 5 red. Yay!
I think that's pretty great, man. I love that.
Exceedingly clever, and I've never seen anything like it before, Like, I don't know, Adam, I don't know if you have Sonata, but Tamarice in his book, The Magic Way, it might be Sonata, but in The Magic Way, Tamarice really diagrams how effects of repetition are made into magic, right? He gives you the method of listing every single way an audience can think it could be done, every single way you can possibly think of that it can be done, and instructs you on how to mix and match those methods so that they all cancel each other out and the audience is left feeling like it's magic, which is, intuitively a lot of what we see in good old Vernon tricks, right? But it's really mapped out by Tamarice and the Escuela de Magia de Madrid. When we take a look at Oil and Water, we have sort of Tamarice's, one of his favorite ways of exploring the idea. So there are so many versions in Sonata. He's really used it as a place to unload like 30, 40 of his methods, right? So it's one of these tricks with got so much room in it, and it really only gets better when you are watching it and the magician makes clear to you, right, how it could be working, and then shows you it couldn't possibly be working that way. And the more you can do that, the stronger it gets. And it's also how we put length into a magic show and girth into it. Because the problem would be otherwise they pay a bunch of money, they come to see it, and you go, watch this. And you just float 5 feet off the air, you come back down, you just did a miracle, you say goodnight, but the people are upset. They've paid literally for an evening's worth of entertainment. You turn water into wine, but we paid for you to work this whole wedding, right? We need some card tricks. We need you to fill the time, right? So what we have here with Nathan is just this incredibly clever ruse and conceit that allows the simple displacements to be done to get you an oil and water effect. So it's really a totally different thing. It's I would say, if there's such a thing as typical Kranzo, this is it, because it's incredibly clever.
Meaning smart, right?
Smart, and also when I say typical Kranzo, I mean smart in a way that isn't really about technique. Like Kranzo is a masterful technician, right? But some of his choicest ideas are just purely ideas. The idea is all you need, to do that.
This next one is a great example of that, right, Alex? This next clip. I mean, talking about just
outstanding. I mean, all of them are. I mean, I feel like I'm just a broken record saying it over and over again, but I love Nathan's magic so much. And it's what Aaron said. I mean, he finds these offbeat ways to like cover things that shouldn't be covered, right? Like presentationally, like that whole oil and water thing, same thing. Every moment in there, it's a moment that is presentation, but it covers a big giant thing that you can't cover otherwise. And I love his magic.
The entire method is structural. So what Nathan has done, and you can see it in the coin trick too. We talked about why it's so good, right? Is because if you study any of those tricks, you run into a major problem. And it's the Gordian knot, right? Instead of trying to solve that problem, he changes it to instead of answering the question, he changes the question. Right. And it becomes an end run around the issue. And that's what we're looking to do, especially if we're practicing magic. We don't want to run into those problems where we're going to get busted. So what Nathan has done here is he has created an entire framework that allows them to move the cards without even thinking about it. You know what I mean? It's just lovely.
This next clip is probably my favorite of the new Kranzo tricks that he's invented in the last 5 years or so. It is such a fooler. Watch this. Do not take your eyes off the screen. All right.
The idea behind Schrodinger's cat.
Yes.
Sure.
We don't have to launch into the whole thing. If not, you can always Google it. It's kind of an interesting.
It happened at Rhine University, right?
Yeah, and he had this whole idea of basically it's that there can be 2 existing realities until you can visually confirm the information. So we're not going to do an experiment where we poison a cat or anything like that. It's just going to be a card trick. So think of it as Schrodinger's card. All right. And I looked it up. It's actually Schrödinger. So if you want to sound smart at a party. Let's see. Aaron, would you mind? I'm just going to kind of go through the cards and just stop me as I go through here.
Stop.
You see it okay?
Yes, sir.
Got it?
I do.
Remember that card? And already I'm going to tell you an existing reality. Your card is both in my hand and in my pocket at the same time. Sounds crazy, but I'll show you my hand's empty. I think something has arrived. What was the card?
Oh my God.
So far, so good. So far, so good. But this is where it gets really insane because I can tell you the deck is both in my hand and in my pocket at the same time. The difference with this is you can visually confirm the information. You can see the deck, but I'll show you my hand's empty. And I'll show you that the deck is actually in my pocket, not in my hand.
Holy smoke!
I just got fooled so bad.
Me too.
I just got fooled so hard.
Wow.
Not much to be said about that, huh? Wow.
The timing is what makes that effect so real. I mean, he's really, there's two ways to make something go from here to here, right? Notice that when we see something disappear, quite often if we take a look at the structure of it, we see it disappear from here and appear over here. So it's a teleportation is really made up of an appearance and a vanish, right? In a sort of a source code way, right? Now there's two ways to make that happen, right? I got a thing, I make the thing disappear, and I make the thing appear. The other way to do it is I have a thing here, the thing is gone, right? So Nathan is really a master of that. And I think we're going to see his copper, silver, brass routine, which is all about understanding the difference between those two looks for the same effect, right? How it feels different, even though it's the same basic effect. Does it go from here first or does it appear here first, right? In this case, Nathan is riding it so close, it's appearing first and really creating the impression that it happened in an instant. But misdirection-wise, attention-wise, your eyes see it appear, and no matter how quickly you look back, it's gone.
So good. It's so good. All right, we have one last clip of Nathan's to show you, and this is a good ending place because it's his sponge balls, and
he had never done this in a lecture before.
Yeah,
and we all decided that this was our favorite version of the classic sponge ball routine, which is very much like, keep in mind, it's like the coin trick. Because what Nathan is doing, if you look at him, the structure of them is a little bit similar. For those of you looking for a way in and a really commercial routine, Nathan's sponge ball routine is the answer because you get all of the same elements structurally. This reminds you of Granoff the other night when he took his sponge ball routine, which sort of was developed after he built that Slidini coin routine for years, right? He learned the source code of it and was able to create magic, and it's like legitimately original magic. Nathan is doing that same kind of thing with the sponge balls. So think about that coin trick while you watch Nathan's sponge ball routine. This is my favorite sponge ball routine for a professional, no extras working, no final load.
Linked. Make it bigger so you can see it. Oh, can you see it now?
Hey now.
Green ball. It's very similar. It's kind of fuzzy. It's like a Nerf ball. It's kind of like a clown nose. I don't wear it, but maybe I should. I can make it fly up my sleeve. Watch. Hey, come back down. Oops.
This reminds me of the coin trick.
Hey, come back down. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go. A little bit of pressure. Some pressure we can get to. It's always my favorite part, the old Gashman split, as they call it. Hey, there's two. Now I'm going to name this one Nathan, okay? And this will be Alex. So we'll so you can see.
I'm so jealous right now.
Alex, okay? So let's see here. I will squeeze Alex. Actually, we'll do this. Alex, could you hold out your hand? Perfect. I'll squeeze you, you squeeze me, and they get to squeeze both, and then of course. Did you feel it? Oh my gosh, both in your hand. One of the best moments in all of Magic. Yay! And then I ask, oh, Samantha, she looks bored. So Samantha, how about we have you give it a shot? I'll have you squeeze both balls. Samantha, squeeze them really tight. I pull another ball out of my pocket. We just touch thumbs. Oh my gosh, there is now 3 of us. Well, this party's really getting started. Hey, let's just have Samantha pick one. She picks the middle one. I take these 2. I put this in my pocket, but Samantha always comes back. Oh, she picks that one this time. I pick these 2. I put this in my pocket, but she always comes back. I don't know. It's just we'll just take these 2 because I'm really putting it in my pocket. And I don't really palm it, but it always comes back. She gets to pick one final one. This is the moment of truth, Samantha. You want the middle one? I don't know why they always pick the middle, but okay, I'll put that in my pocket. Blow on it, Samantha. Oh my gosh, they're gone.
You're so good at that. You're so good at that, man.
It's a great routine, man. And it's modular, right? It's got all those effects going. It's wonderful for walk around because you can stop at any one of those phases and just say, okay, thank you, and walk away like it was a whole routine.